What's up, guys? Peepo again, and I am at work. It's a little bit before opening, so I have a little bit of time to do this. And today's video is this. Hero Mesh from East Coast Dyes, powered by Jimalax, who's been in the mesh and string game for over a decade now, I believe. So, mesh, not the strings, because I don't have any hero strings yet, so this is just about hero mesh. Now I have a piece of gray here in my Epic Hawk, and a piece of all white here in this Burn X that's dyed. Now, this mesh, I've messed with the prototypes of this at one point, and it's changed from that initial prototype that I had. I mean, there's definitely different qualities between the two, but anyway. Getting to the main thing here is that I've been stringing up a decent amount of this hero mesh left and right. Been stringing it up in customers' heads, friends' heads, mostly customers' heads, and there's been a fair amount of people just coming in and having had String King, and then they get hero mesh. The hero mesh is, I would say, if you were to put a scale of 1 to 5, from 5 being the hardest and 1 being the softest that you could possibly have without bagging, I would say that String King 2S and 2S Plus, because honestly there really isn't much of a difference. I mean, you guys can argue as much as you want on that fact, but I string enough pieces of this stuff that I could tell you there's not a whole lot of difference. There barely any difference, but String King would be probably about a 3, maybe a 2.5 on the soft scale out of 1 of 5. And I would say East Coast Dye semi-soft hero mesh is about a 1.5, maybe a 1. So definitely a little bit softer, although even with that softness, it holds its shape pretty well. Like, obviously I'm punching it out with my hand, but most of the time when you get your soft mesh and you punch it out with your hand, it kind of sucks in on itself a little bit and get a pretty decent shape from East Coast Dyes. I know this one's a little bit wider on the channel, but I mean, that's what I wanted to string up. But so strings up really nice. I decided to do a 10 diamond top string on this one just because I feel a 10 diamond works better in a Hawk, and I've gone over 10 diamond and 9 diamond theory. I think at one point I might have to go into detail on that at some point now that I think about it. But so I decided to do a 10 diamond because I felt that the Hawk takes a 10 diamond just a little bit better than a 9, and so I did that. And because of the structure of the hero mesh, I ended up being able to stretch it pretty well at the top to where it would work for me, and then create a fairly channeled pocket higher in the head without sacrificing having a super deep one. That's what I've noticed with some people trying to do your higher pockets. They get this super sweet high pocket way up in the head, but then it's way too deep to where the bottom string or anything that going on down here can compensate and keep it legal. And then that brings in all sorts of whip factors. But East Coast hero mesh kind of negates that a little bit. Even with the higher pocket, it seems to just kind of negate the whip a little bit because of how soft it is. I mean, the Hawk is designed with the laid back profile to be able to negate that itself by allowing you to have a higher pocket and reduce whip just because of the head's design. But with the mesh and the head together, I can have a decently high pocket, and I'm not usually a high pocket person. And it was coming out pretty smooth last night at my men's league game. It has really nice hold. I'm not going to give a scale for hold, but I would have to compare it to... If I were to compare it to anything, I would say it's kind of has the hold of old school Ruby mesh. I don't know if anybody's fully familiar with that, but look it up. It definitely has a little bit of the hold of Ruby mesh. Stringability, like I said, with the 10 diamond, works well with this head. But stringability, it stretches well. If anything, it stretches a little bit beyond what you would think it would when you're actually stretching it out, and then you go in to string it. Stretches a little bit more, but I feel that allows you to have a slightly more defined pocket while still pulling down a little bit further without sacrificing the fact that you're gonna overcompensate and warp the head just because you want that tighter pocket. So if you're one of those guys that likes the Goldilocks channel, which we're not even going to get into that seriousness, but if you're one of those people that likes that, East Coast Hero Mesh probably will work out better for you, simply because of the softness of it. It allows that Goldilocks channel to expand a little bit better and then have the ball come out instead of just getting stuck in there and then coming down into the ground, which I see a lot with the people that tend to use that sort of channel design. Now, I haven't had any pieces rip coming into the store or anything like that. Again, the stringing is pretty sweet. It's the perfect length. I mean, whenever I string up a hawk, I always have a bit of a longer one by about 1 or 2 rows than I usually would, and that's just any mesh with a hawk, for me anyway. But the Hero Mesh is a good length. I guess if you're one of those people that likes the cut mesh after you strung it, no matter where or whatever, you have about maybe I would say about 1 row of diamonds that you could probably cut off without really screwing yourself over. But so it strings up real nice. Throwing is pretty sweet. I've had a few face-off guys get it because it is very soft. There's some of the younger face-off guys. I haven't had any like older gentlemen or anything like that, or teenagers. It's mostly been like 14-year-olds or lower with face-offs, but it does have very good face-off capabilities just because of how soft it is, and maintains hold, maintains shape. Abrasive wise on the ball, because of like what I was talking about earlier with the hold, it's not super abrasive on your hands like some other meshes are, but you can totally tell when you put the ball in there that there is a lot of friction going on when it comes to holding it, as long as you've strung it properly. Because honestly, if you string any of the best meshes out there in a way that doesn't work out, it's just not going to work. You got to make sure that the stringing matches the mesh so that you can actually get the performance that you want out of it. So definitely like Hero strings, but I haven't gotten a hold of any more so that I can do a review of it. But Hero Mesh, $20 for mesh that usually you would think would cost a decent amount more. If you know anything about the stringing community, you'll know that when it comes to mesh, it could be a lot more expensive than it is. But so, Hero Mesh got some kudos from me. I don't know if I'm going to get any more pieces to use or anything like that, just because most of my sticks are traditional now. But as far as mesh goes, I really like it. I can't wait to get a piece of their semi-hard whenever that comes out. So looking forward to that. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. There's going to be a bit of a live stringing of this just after I'm done talking. So look forward to that, and I'll catch you guys later.